I'm going to show you how to make annotations on a document. When you make annotations, you write down what you are thinking about the text in the margins. We are going to use this bookmark as a checklist of the different ways we need to be thinking about a text. I am going to make one annotation of each type that is on the bookmark. As I write on the text, I want you to practice on your copy by writing the same things that I do. Okay, so the text we are reading today is Because I Could Not Stop for Death, which is a poem by Emily Dickinson. I'm going to begin reading aloud, and when I see something that I want to make an annotation about, I will stop. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. So I noticed that Dickinson refers to death as a he. So I'm going to underline this word, and in the margins, I'm going to make a U for usage, because she is using personification, and that is a literary device. Then I'm going to write a note about why it's important. She uses personification to make death more relatable. I'm also wondering about why Dickinson chose to use so many dashes in this poem. So I'm going to put a question mark in the margin and write, why so many dashes? I think it's because she wanted to show an interruption of thought. So I'm going to put a hypothesis to my answer. Okay, let's keep reading. When the speaker of the poem says, "My labor and my leisure too," I think this means that when we die, we stop working and doing the fun things we enjoy. So I'm going to put a star and write infer, because I think acceptance of death is a major theme in this poem. I'm also going to put an exclamation point by the word civility, because it shocks me that the speaker thinks that death is civil. This isn't traditionally the way we think about death. Okay, let's keep going. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of grazing grain. We passed the setting sun. I can really relate to this stanza because it talks about the natural stages of life, from childhood to adulthood. So I'm going to put an R next to this stanza and write relate. Okay, let's move on to the next stanza. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only tulle. I'm not really sure what the word tippet means, so I'm going to circle it, and then I'll need to look it up in the dictionary. What I found when I looked this word up earlier is that tippet is actually a scarf or cloth of fur. So I'm going to write that definition there. All right, let's keep reading. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. I'm going to put a star next to this last line because it seems like a main idea in the poem. Emily Dickinson is trying to tell us that death is eternal, but she also has a pretty neutral tone about death. So I'm going to write that here. Now that we've finished reading, we need to double check that we made at least one annotation of each type. A good way to do this is to use the bookmark as a checklist. I know we made a question, so I'm going to check that. We talked about personification for our usage, so I'll check that. We made a few inferences about main ideas, including our last one about death is eternal, so I'm going to check that one as well. We looked up the word tippet, so we can check off our vocabulary. I evaluated the fact that Emily Dickinson said that death was civil, and I thought that that was kind of strange. And I was able to relate how she talked about all the different stages of life, and so I can check that off as well. Okay, it looks like we have them all. I hope this video helped you to learn a new strategy to comprehend text.